Airbnb listings in New York City have plummeted from 22,000 to 3,000 in just 1 month thanks to recent government regulations, and critics argue that these regulations were pointless in the first place. And yet, more cities around the world are adopting similar regulations to restrict Airbnb hosts. Is this the end of Airbnb as we know it? And what will this mean for the future of travel? These are questions I'll be attempting to answer in this video. Known for its soaring prices, with an average studio apartment costing a staggering $3,016 per month in rent, New York City stands at the heart of the USA's far-reaching affordable housing problems. Since September, Airbnb has been adapting to a new set of government regulations in New York City, which has effectively banned the game-changing, hotel-disrupting short-term rental platform. The intentions behind the regulations do make sense. By transforming Airbnbs into long-term housing solutions, not only will more individuals find suitable places to call home, but it will also introduce added competition among landlords. This would ultimately contribute to increased housing affordability in the city. At least, that's the idea anyway. The new regulations mandate that short-term rental hosts be physically present during their guest stays, cap the total number of guests at 2, and require them to have access to the entire accommodation. And in order to stay in line with these regulations, hosts are now obliged to register with the relevant city authority. Airbnb, however, is characterizing the regulations as a de facto ban, and while the company are understandably bitter about government intervention crushing their business, the numbers certainly corroborate their sentiments. The regulations immediately wiped 19,000 Airbnb listings from the city in just 1 month, and has left roughly only 3,000 listings in New York City. The ban has now created a black market for short-term rentals, according to a spokesperson for Restore Homeowner Autonomy and Rights, a local group in opposition to the new law, with people now using sites like Facebook and Craigslist to find short-term rental accommodation. While using these platforms could be beneficial to travellers, they do not come with the insurance and security of an Airbnb listing, so could also be putting travellers at risk. Is there even any proof that regulating short-term rentals will fix the city's crippling housing unaffordability crisis? Some experts have pointed to evidence from Irvine, California in 2018, which mandated and enforced similar regulations, and a new study that has been recently published in Real Estate Economics reveals that it actually worked, but in Irvine, California. After the ban, long-term rents dropped by 3%, amounting to an average rent price decrease of $114 per month. While Irvine is just a single case study, and $28 a week back in the hands of renters isn't hugely meaningful, it confirms years of research indicating that short-term rental platforms like Airbnb do make a difference to rents and house prices. The key to Irvine's success was enforcement, unlike other cities with similar bans. Researchers found that the ban resulted in an $80.7 million annual reduction in total rental spending, offering evidence for local governments considering similar regulations. However, critics of Airbnb regulations are arguing that short-term rentals are not the primary driver of New York City's housing crisis. They say that complex factors like income inequality, zoning policies, and shifting post-pandemic location preferences are the main contributors, and leaving Airbnb and Airbnb hosts to take the hit is scapegoating away from bigger systemic issues, a number of which are at least partly the fault of poor government decisions. Airbnb themselves have contended that the chronic underproduction of housing is the chief cause of unaffordability, and have also stated that the new regulations won't significantly address the city's housing affordability issues. So how will this impact the travel industry going forward? This, and the effect it will have on Airbnb in other major cities facing similar housing issues, remains to be seen.
It really makes no sense. I mean, this is one of the most populated travel destinations in the world, so it doesn't make any sense to me at all. I mean, I come up from Birmingham, Alabama about 5 times a year, so I'm always looking for options, and hotel rooms are outrageous these days.
It's likely that these regulations will push travellers to stay in neighbouring towns. Indeed, bookings have already increased in New Jersey and Connecticut since the regulations came into effect, and this may benefit local economies. However, it's also fair to assume that with their largest competitors effectively hamstrung, hotel prices will now also increase. Obviously, fixing preventable social issues for its own citizens should be the city's priority over potential impacts on travellers. If these regulations are going to price out travellers, then hopefully New York renters at least see the same results as Irvine. However, if they don't benefit renters and impact travellers, then the city will have taken a huge gamble and lost. Regardless, regulating Airbnb is not the cure-all to fix the country's significant housing shortage, but hopefully doing something is better than doing nothing.